Did you know that the board game Monopoly was first sold in Massachusetts? Or how about that there's a Monopoly World Championship game? Well, these are just a few interesting facts in Olin College graduate Kevin Tostado's documentary Under the Boardwalk, The Monopoly Story. He recently visited the area to screen his own feature.
I can't remember a time as a kid growing up when there wasn't a game of Monopoly in the house. And I learned about the U.S. championships when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And so I decided, you know what, one day I'm going to try and compete at these championships. And while I never got the opportunity to actually try and compete myself, because they only hold them every 4 to 5 years, right after I was finishing my time at Olin, I decided, you know what, nobody's done a documentary about the game of Monopoly. The next set of championships is coming up soon. I'm going to be the guy to make that film.
Although Tostado is an electrical and computer engineering graduate of Olin College's inaugural class, he had a hobby for filmmaking and decided to turn it into a full-time job. His quest to find out more about Monopoly took him to 9 countries, and he shot 300 hours of footage and interviewed over 100 people.
I certainly didn't expect to have spent the last 4 years of my life working on this documentary, but we spent 8 months editing this down to be the hour-and-a-half film that it was. Our first cut, I think, was around 5 hours long. I mean, there's literally been books written about the history of Monopoly, so for us to try and figure out what is the best stories to share with our audiences, that was certainly a challenge in itself.
A challenge that he overcame, and in his quest he unveils not just the history of the board game, but also little-known facts about the game that most people probably never knew.
One of the interesting things that I discovered while making a film about Monopoly was learning how it was used during World War II to help prisoners of war escape from the POW camps. And that was something I had no clue about, and it's one of those things that you kind of see passed around the internet every now and then. People just like can't believe that that's actually true, and it is.
On hand was one of the local stars of the film, Phil Urbains, a board game designer who has also served as chief judge at U.S. national and world Monopoly tournaments. Under the Boardwalk has played theatrically around the country and has won many awards. And on February 14th, the film will have its national release on iTunes, Netflix, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and more.
I think it would be interesting for someone from Needham to come and see what the engineers at Olin College is producing can do, even if they aren't actually working in an engineering field. I have friends of mine who I graduated with who have gone into medicine, who have gone into law, yet our engineering degrees from Olin are enabling us to think outside the box and produce creative and imaginative things that you wouldn't necessarily expect from a traditional engineer.
For the Needham Channel News, I'm Natalie Guthrie.